Let's revisit a problem with a variable we saw earlier. In this code example, we are trying to calculate the sales tax rate. This simplistic example has one rate for Utah customers and one for everyone else. Yes, I know in real life there are more than two sales tax rates, but the focus here is to make sure we declare variables where we need them. The sales tax variable is declared inside of this if block. The problem with that is, when we go to print the rate, even though the location is set to Utah in this test, we'll get an error message saying it can't find the variable. The rule to remember is this: a variable, by default, is only visible within the block of code in which it is declared. So the sales tax variable is not visible outside of this if block. The location variable, on the other hand, was declared inside of this method block, so we can use it anywhere within this method. That's why the location works here. We should move the sales tax variable to be declared within the method, not the if block. So I'll do a little copy and paste. Set this to 0 to start. And once a variable is declared, we don't need to declare it twice. This means we don't need the word double again on line 12. So let's save this and run this code again. Now it works. As your Java programs grow, you will often have multiple methods within a single class. And some of these methods may need to share variables. Take this code example with two methods: main on line 5, and then other states on line 25. Inside the main method, we have the sales tax variable, and it's being used inside of this if block. This if block checks to see if the location is Utah, and if not, calls a different method, which shows a different sales tax rate. Question: knowing what you know about variables and their scopes, do you think this code will work? I have a test location set to somewhere other than Utah, so let's find out. I'll run this. And it doesn't work. Why? Because the sales tax variable contained in this method, when called in this method, cannot be found. So what we have here is a variable that needs to have its scope set across several methods within a class. How then do we accomplish this? Let's make this variable for the sales tax span the entire class. I'll move this variable declaration to be above the main method. And then I will need to add the static keyword here so that we can use this variable without having to create an instance of it. Let's run this code again. And this time it works because the variable is in the proper scope. When you go to declare variables, ask yourself this: do I need it in this block of code? Do I need this to work for an entire method? How about for an entire class full of methods? Declare your variables in the correct scope accordingly.